So Democrats are ridiculing Bernie Sanders over Fox News town hall plans. This is from Newsweek right here, saying that conservatives and moderates are offering rare praise, but apparently Democrats are saying you're a traitor to Bernie Sanders for accepting a Fox News town hall. Oh, this is so infuriating to me. This is infuriating. And no, what's infuriating is not that he's going on Fox News. What's infuriating to me is that people are actually saying, oh, how dare you? You're a traitor. How dare you speak to those people? How dare you legitimize Fox News? How dare you talk to these people who consumed Fox News? Don't you realize that you're a traitor when you do this? What are you trying to do? Court conservative voters? How dare you, Bernie Sanders? How dare you? And also, Andrew Yang went on the Ben Shapiro show over the weekend. And, surprisingly, he didn't get a lot of negative hate for that, which a lot of people, including Ben, even said during the show. He says, thanks for being on here. You're going to get a lot of flack. And actually, Andrew Yang did not get a lot of flack for being on Ben Shapiro, which is the right mentality. You should actually not give anybody any grief for speaking to people at conservative outlets. So this is just something that... let's just go over this article a little bit here. So Newsweek, it says Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders angered many establishment Democrats and drew rare praise from conservatives over his plans to appear at a Fox News 2020 presidential campaign town hall later this month. Sanders was widely ridiculed by Democrats and supporters of 2020 rivals, including Beto O'Rourke, Kamala Harris, and even former Vice President Joe Biden's unannounced campaign backers, who used the announcement as evidence the independent senator is not, quote unquote, loyal to the Democratic Party, while voices such as The Intercept's Glenn Greenwald applauded Sanders for his open-minded outreach. Mainline Democrats accused Sanders of courting conservative voters, promoting the cable news network's hateful Trump rhetoric, and turning his back on the DNC. Okay. When did the left become such authoritarians? I mean, this sounds no different to me than what liberals had been fighting against for decades with right-wingers. The authoritarian right who said, how dare you speak to those heathens? How dare you speak to those gays? Don't talk to those gays. If you get near those gays, you know what's going to happen to you. You might become one of them. Don't talk to them. Don't get near them. Don't legitimize their lifestyle. This is how this sounds. And I know that a bunch of left-wingers will say to me, no, that's different, because what they were doing was filled with hate. This is what a left-winger will actually say to you. What they were talking about was hateful. They were talking about hating and discriminating and harming others. But what we're doing is, there's no such thing as reverse bigotry. You can't, standing up against a bigot is not bigotry. But actually, guys, this is bigotry. This is completely bigotry. To sit there and say to people, we're not going to talk to you because we think that you are essentially subhuman. Your opinion doesn't matter. Your thoughts don't matter because you are one of them and you're not one of us. And we don't want to talk to you. And we're not going to put ourselves on your platform and legitimize your network. I mean, first of all, Fox News is already legit. Hate to break it to you. Fox News gets more viewers than CNN and MSNBC. And I think they might even get more viewers than CNN and MSNBC combined. Fox News is already legitimate. Whether you like them or not, they're a legitimate news organization. Now, are they biased? Yes, they're biased, just like CNN is and just like MSNBC is biased. Fox News, of course, is biased. They know their audience. They're catering to their audience. But they're still legit. And whether you talk to them or not, Fox News is still going to be legit. They're still going to get a massive audience. They're still going to be swaying minds. And if you just say, well, we're not going to talk to you because we don't like you, we don't agree with you, how are you ever going to get anybody to ever agree with you if that's your attitude? If your attitude is, you know what, I'm just going to keep preaching to the choir. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep preaching to the choir. Then how are you ever going to get any more people? And when I've had this conversation with some liberals, they actually say to me things like, they're a lost cause. I don't have any interest in speaking to these conservative white people in the middle of America who voted for Trump. They're a lost cause. They're not supporters of the Democratic Party. They're wishy-washy. They're not going to vote for us. Why even waste my time? Why even waste my time? And it is just, it's not only is it ignorant and is it counter to the whole process. The whole process, right? The idea is to earn votes. The whole idea is when you're going around campaigning, when you're going around developing your party's platform, it's not about who's loyal and that we're just going to keep, the loyals are just going to stick around and that's it. You've got to, for one, keep people loyal to you. And two, if you lose their loyalty, instead of just saying, all right, well, F you, good. I didn't need you anyway, never speaking to you again. Maybe stop and ask yourself, what did I do to lose their loyalty? And what can we do to gain that loyalty back? But people are saying they don't even want to try. They're saying, oh, don't even go on Fox News. Don't legitimize Fox News. Don't talk to these conservative voters. They're not worth it. They're not loyal. Let's move on. And also these voters are Americans, just like you and me. They're American voters. And every politician, every candidate should be speaking to everybody in America, not just, only the Americans who are on my team. I'm only going to talk to the Americans on my side who agree with me, who are on my team. I'm not going to speak to anybody who disagrees with me. That is so counter to what democracy is supposed to be. Democracy is supposed to be where you go and speak to everybody who is able to cast a vote, and you try to win them over. But this idea of don't speak to these right-wingers, and we see this more, not just with Bernie Sanders and Fox News, we're seeing this all over the place with left-wingers, where they're saying, do not speak to these conservative outlets. Do not have a conversation. Don't invite this person on your show. Don't speak to this person. Don't go on their show. I get this all the time. I am willing to talk to anybody, and I mean anybody. I am willing to talk to anybody, even the most abhorrent of abhorrent people that you think are horrible, horrific people with disgusting viewpoints. I still want to talk to even them, because how else are we ever going to change hearts and minds if we're not willing to speak to people? So, I mean, look, I'm going to say something really controversial here. But of course, I would go on Fox News and I would speak on Fox News. I would even take a job. I mean, not really. I'm not looking to take a job on any mainstream media whatsoever, declaring that now. I like my independence. But I'm saying in principle, right? I would take a job on Fox News just as easily as I would on any other outlet if I were looking for that. Why? Because how else are you going to change hearts and minds than if you're sitting somewhere and you're able to talk to these people that maybe have a different viewpoint than you? I would talk to white nationalists. If they invited, like, let's say a group of white nationalists invited me to go and speak at their convention, I would really probably go and speak. I probably would. Because how else are you going to change hearts and minds? I'll say it again. How else are you going to change hearts and minds if you're not willing to speak to the people that you feel like need it the most? So yes, I would go and I would speak anywhere. I would say, look, if you want to hear my message, and if my message could maybe do something good, then I'm going to go deliver that message. That's what I'm going to go do. And whether you like that group of people or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is I'm sharing my message. And if those people, even if one person in that crowd changes their mind and is swayed to what it is I'm propagandizing up there towards them, then that's a win. That's a win. But this whole idea of we're not going to speak to anybody. If you're not on our team, we're not going to speak to you. We're certainly not going to speak to people that we find disgusting, immoral, and abhorrent, which sounds exactly like really moral authoritarian right-wingers. Moral authoritarian right-wingers that would say, don't speak to those gays. Don't speak to those harlots, those prostitutes. Don't speak to those sluts. Don't speak to those people that, behave like this, because they're immoral and they're just going to corrupt you and they're bad and we don't want to even speak to them. We don't want to legitimize them. That is what this is. It is the wrong attitude. I speak out completely against this. I do not endorse this behavior. I do not condone it. I think it needs to end. I think it's toxic. I think it's absolutely everything I do not want to be. when people sit there and I don't want to be an authoritarian of any kind. Okay, so authoritarian right wingers and authoritarian left wingers to me are identical. They just have a different set of morals, and they're trying to force and shove their morals on society. And I don't think that's liberal at all. I wouldn't call that liberal. That's authoritarian. So we got the authoritarian left, the authoritarian right, and we should just ship them all off on an island together and let them duke it out and decide on who's going to win and who's going to be able to control the narrative. But really, and then I would go speak at that island. And I would say to them, you guys need to change your ways. This isn't the right way to be. We're all people. We're all humans. Nobody is subhuman. Everybody should be spoken to. Everybody should be, you should always attempt and try to sway the hearts and minds of those who do not agree with you. So good on Bernie Sanders for going and speaking to Fox News. And good on Andrew Yang for going and speaking to Ben Shapiro. More power to him, and I hope the rest of the candidates follow suit.